And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. That's Revelation 18:4. And y'all have heard me say on this channel many times, come out of her, my people, right? Come out of Babylon, come out of that system. And whether or not you are people of the book, you're a person of the book or not, you realize that stuff is very likely fixing to happen. And being surrounded by lots of people, being totally dependent on the system is probably not a recipe for success, right? And so you got to come out of her. But I've been thinking this morning that I think sometimes certainly I, can come across as perhaps elitist, stuck up, thinking that, the only way, perceived as thinking that, the only way that you're going to make it is if you live like I live, off-grid, out in the boonies. And if that's the case, if that's the perception I've given, that's not true. I don't believe that. I've said time and again, probably not on YouTube, but certainly in sermons and amongst the people I hang out with, that to be a true believer, one doesn't have to live out here. You could live in Manhattan, be a true follower of Christ. I don't think that's a good physical survival strategy, right? But I also don't think that the way we are living out here on Shofar Mountain, which is off-grid, and when I say off-grid, people have their own definitions, but what I mean is there are no utilities coming onto this land. There's no water, gas, pipeline, electricity, anything like that. Nothing like that comes onto the land. We don't pay any utility bills. Therefore, we're off-grid. Living this way certainly sets us up for success should, an EMP thing happen or whatever happens, that the whole system just goes pew and stops. Living out here in many ways away from the system, certainly not entirely away from the system, but in many ways away from the system, we will have it easier when that happens. But there are other ways to do this. The way we are doing it has a lot to do with money, really. I am not opposed to electricity lines. I am not opposed to running water. The reason we don't have it here is, quite frankly, because we could not afford to bring it in to where we're building the houses. And so, I thought, well, I've always kind of wanted to live off-grid. Let's give it a shot, right? But if I could afford to bring in electricity and running water, we probably would, right? So I don't want to come off as an elitist in that way, thinking, oh, you have running water, you are lesser. You're not. Enjoy your hot shower tonight. But I do think that one needs to be set up in whatever situation one finds oneself to deal with the system shutting down. And so, if you do live in a city or in a densely packed suburb, I really still encourage you to move out. But that doesn't mean you have to move out to here, Get out in the country a little bit. Get yourself at least a little bit of breathing room and land around you. If you can't go out and pee in your backyard without getting a sexual offense ticket or something, you're probably living too close to other people. But you should still take steps, even if you have electricity and water and things like that, to catch rainwater and to, if you can, drill a well and to set up an alternate system to power whatever you think you're going to want to power when the electrical grid, such as it is, goes down, to take care of yourself without depending a whole lot on other people. I am not anti-job, right? If you have a job, and you're making good money, that's fine. I just encourage you to spend that money correctly. Instead of buying season's tickets to the local football franchise, which I take it is pretty expensive. Why not invest that money and build a outdoor cob oven thing, in your backyard, or have a well drilled, or, something like that. Take care of yourself from a preparedness standpoint wherever you are. Instead of buying that, new car because your other one's 3 years old, why don't you spend that money on, things that would help you and yours survive better? That's just where I'm at. So I am a little bit elitist, if you will, that way in how one chooses to spend one's money. But earning money, hey, if you can earn $1 bazillion and then set yourself up awesomely, cool. I think it's a bit of a fallacy to build the ultimate survival retreat but not live there. Thinking, well, I'll work in Manhattan, I'll build this cool thing out in the Ozarks, wherever, and when the times get tight, I'll go there. You might make it. You also might not, And so I encourage you to do the best with what you can where you are. And you can take, lessons or ideas or concepts from the way we live and the way other people live, whose YouTube videos you watch, and apply what you can to your own situation. A lot of places right now in urban areas you can raise chickens legally. Check into that, have a couple eggs delivered every day right to you. We are thinking about starting to try to raise pigeons. I still have some more projects I have to knock out first, but then after that we're probably going to give it a go to try and raise some pigeons. A lot of places in the city, people raise pigeons. Flying rats. But yeah, please don't think that I think that you are a lesser person because you have running water and electricity and have a paved road that drives up to your house. I don't. I just think that, go ahead and work with what you have. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's important. Go plant a fruit tree, plant a garden. Don't lose sight of the fact that you may have to take care of you and yours. And hopefully a bigger circle than that, helping out your neighbors in whatever form that takes. So just things to think about. Bloom where you're planted. Wasn't that a book one time that somebody wrote? Do the best that you can with what you got, where you are, and I'll see you out there.